Hey there, welcome to the My Risk Advisor podcast. This podcast is for anyone in the financial planning ecosystem with a focus on life risk insurance. I'm your host, Phil Thompson, Director and Financial Advisor at Sky Wealth, and I've been on a business journey over the last few years going from a struggling holistic advice firm with one staff member, considering packing it all in, to pivot the business now to being one of Australia's leading specialist insurance advice firms with over 7 advisors, 30 team members, and helping hundreds of clients every single year get important insurance cover in place. I am unashamed to say that this podcast is so I can continue to grow and develop as an advisor and a business owner as I interview some incredibly smart individuals. So keep on listening so you can learn alongside me. All right, David, thanks heaps for joining me. So today I've got David Spiteri. Did I butcher your name or did I get it okay?
Hey, you've got it right. Everyone calls
me awesome.
Dave Spiteri is fine.
Yeah, cool. Spitzy. So Spitzy, you've been around for a long time, giving insurance advice. You've also been like regional manager in the life and Z space. And now you run your own business, Life Tech Assist. So first of all, just give us an understanding of your journey, what you've been through, what you've done in the life insurance space.
Sure. Thanks. It's and I'll give you the very abbreviated version because it's over 35 years of experience. So all I know is insurance. Joined AMP in 1986. It's my first job out of school, and pretty much continued from there. And I guess throughout the 35 years, I did all the admin stuff at AMP through to becoming an underwriter, heading up claims for another insurance company. Then I was an advisor, purely a risk advisor with a life broker's license when they were available back then. And I did that for over 10 years and absolutely loved it. And then went into dealer group land where I headed up the insurance arm for a few dealer groups. And that entailed full technical support, mentoring of new advisors for risk insurance and liaising with a lot of insurance companies. So a couple of years ago, unfortunately, I was made redundant. I say unfortunately back then, but today I say very fortunately. It's a blessing in disguise where I just had numerous requests because I used to work with over 2,000 advisors. I did a lot of PD days and on the circuit. So I've been around for a little while and I just got numerous requests saying, hey, why don't you open up your own technical support for life insurance? Nobody does it. It's independent. So that's what I ended up doing. And I got a few of the guys that I know quite well that requested that. And they pretty much put the model together. The model virtually is technical support for life insurance, whether it be assistance on any of the technical aspects, policy definitions, structuring, comparisons, a second opinion on a claim, or should I claim, or what's the process. Anything to do with insurance is pretty much something that I could probably help with. And that's some thoughts or things for advisors to consider.
Cool. So, I mean, let's go back a little bit. Why did you eventually get out of advising?
To be truthful, it was with a bank. So I had the security of an income, and having the security of an income, I probably wasn't as adventurous as probably what you were and many other self-employed people to actually take the risk. I had a mortgage, had young kids.
Adventurous or stupid? They're both interchangeable words.
Oh, no. I'd say adventurous because it's probably something that I regret doing. And it was just more so the security of having a regular income, even though back then, with the bank was writing up to 250 to 300 per annum back then, year in, year out. And it was just one of those things where it was more security and to like where I was placed in my life with young kids, mortgage. Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
So was there a redundancy from that advice position? Is that why you moved out of the actual advising, or
no.
You just saw maybe the writing on the wall? Banks are probably going to get out.
No. Banks weren't getting out back then. It just got to the stage where I wanted something different, and I was approached by a dealer group to head up their insurance arm. They needed to educate their advisors. They felt that was a space that required some work within their dealer group, and pretty much ventured from there. So the job description was very, very broad, and pretty much when I'm up there, it was like narrowed down as to one of the main priorities that our dealer or the dealer group that I work with wanted. And pretty much worked with that.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that space thinking about dealer groups because my hypothesis has always been for a long time that insurance is the highest risk area for an advisor. you're recommending $1 million, moving from $1 million of cover, moving from A to B potentially. And if B doesn't pay out, then, well, if A would have, then you're on the hook for $1 million. So like in terms of advisors and licensees being very cautious of going, it's not just a tack on. We really got to invest in our advisors to make sure we're doing it well and training them. So it's good that licensees, and they're still doing it, investing in that space. Let's go into a bit deeper about what is Life Tech Assist. Like, how does it actually work?
Yeah, sure. So virtually it's a service model, and it's based on a subscription model where we charge $95 per month per advisor or per practice, depending on the size of the practice, but $95 per month. And what that does, that gives them access to me to ask me anything to do with insurance. I will generally give you an unbiased response. I'm not paid. I'm not sponsored by any insurer or anything like that. I'm pretty much out on my own. And provide you with some considerations given your inquiry. And in addition to that, we also put together a resource library. And the resource library's got hundreds of documents that does comparisons. And it's something that the insurers don't do. And I can understand why, because they're not impartial where I am. And look at the differences between one insurer and another insurer. And things like, which is quite popular, is still, it has been, is the income protection space. And different insurers specialise in different features of a client's position. So it's a lot of the questions I do get on the income protection. In addition, look, we've got every PDS date back to the year 2000. We've got a lot of stuff to assist clients, client flyers. And then in addition to that, we've had all the insurance companies come on board and have allowed me to utilise their material and our resource centre.
So, I mean, I'm in the resource centre now, so I'm having a look. You got some, every insurer, you've got your own tab in there for each insurer, where you've got some of their marketing materials. So like I'm looking at Clearview's one, they've got their claims guide for clients. They would have just had their recent claims thing that they recently emailed out. And so each insurer has their own kind of section for that. But then you've got your, what you call Life Tech Assist independent research or independent resources. So you've got your kind of quarterly newsletters that you go out. You've got some overviews of different types of insurers, which, as our business, so we've got now 6 advisors in the team. At the start of the year, we brought BDMs in for every insurance company and their tech team as well. And so give us an overview of your product and talk about what's good and what's bad. And we love our insurance partners, but it did feel a little bit less genuine because they're not going to come in and say, this is where we're bad. So insurance companies, they'll talk about sweet spots in terms of pricing sweet spots. But I mean, anyone who's got, risk research or Omnium knows the pricing sweet spot because we plug in our clients' details and there's the premiums. So we know where your sweet spots are. It's really, where do you play well or not play well in terms of underwriting or in terms of your actual policy documents. It is difficult when you get them in because they're not really going to be as honest, not that they're lying, but they're going to talk about the features and benefits of their product as they should, and not the, hey, really don't go near us for, family history of breast cancer.
Yeah. That's a good point. And it's like just getting back to the 3 aspects that I do concentrate on with that resource centre is product, strategy, and education. They're the 3 things that we focus on. So it's not a case of putting material on there that I don't feel is going to meet one of those 3 key things. I guess one of the strengths that we have here is legacy products. And when we talk legacy, look, we can go back to AMP, whole of life policies. We can go back to Lumley Life, Australian Casualty and Life. And unfortunately, I don't believe that insurers have enough capability to understand those products and compare the differences. Whereas, look, being brought up with all my life with insurance, I was very familiar with them and still am familiar. And how do they rate and compare to the current product suite?
That's right. And most of the, let's be honest, most of the executives in insurers, most of the admin teams haven't been around that long in their company to understand those products. The people who know those products are really the old school proprietors who wrote those products back 30 years ago. They understand those products better. So having a resource like yourself is really helpful for advisors if they've got those kind of older style products. In terms of so who is it aimed at? Is it aimed at Life Tech Assist? Is it aimed at new advisors, licensees? Help me understand, who are you aiming?
Yeah. Look, it was a pretty open book. I started the business in March last year. And you sort of come with a preconceived idea as to what this business is going to do, who's it going to target, and lo and behold, it changes just like anything. So initially it was for purely risk advisors, and that's what I thought. Risk advisors that are looking for real technical advice, strategies, and real assistance where they can get an unbiased opinion. 18 months on, I now work with probably 6 dealer groups. So dealer groups are coming into this space, saying, hey, we need some assistance with our advisors, and they utilise either some of my service or all of the service. Probably 55 to 60% of my client base do maybe 20% risk.
Yeah.
Whereas my preconceived idea is this is purely for risk specialists, but didn't turn out that way. The appetite predominantly is for those that don't specialise in risk or only used to do a whole lot of risk, or got existing books with risk, or purchased a book that has got a lot of risk in there. And it's always, hey, what do I do here?
Yeah. That makes complete sense for me in terms of that's where people are coming to from, because a lot of those businesses that are in that space that have either done quite a bit of risk in the past and no longer do as much. There is so many changes, things going on all the time. But as risk specialists, like our business, we send out 70 pre-assessments a month. So we know where underwriting is. We know where it's moving. We know, when an insurer, basically to the week, when their appetite changes, or the reinsurer changes their appetite on certain things. But if you're a generalist, you're doing 1 case a month or 10 cases a year or something, you don't want to get tripped up in this space. This is my view on the world, is they should either refer that out or bring in technical experts like Life Tech Assist for sure. It's a no-brainer. If you're not doing it all day, every day, you cannot stuff this stuff up. You either outsource it to a specialist or you bring in technical support like yourself. So that makes complete sense that licensees are going, as I said before, it's the biggest risk. You stuff up $1 million life policy, then that's $1 million on your PI. So it makes a lot of sense to bring you guys in for those, difficult cases. I've got a 10-year-old IP policy that's gone up by a crazy amount. Now help me compare it against the new products.
And it's not uncommon for me to get inquiries from new advisors looking to join the service, for me to say, well, hey, have you thought of referring it out to a risk specialist? Really, let's assess how many clients do you have in the risk space? What's your appetite for risk? Do you want to learn and grow with it? And if the answer is no, we don't have much risk, we don't do any risk, well, personally, I think referring it to a specialist, you're going to get a better outcome. You start doing the hours, the economics on it, as to what you're going to get paid for the amount of hours that you do. A risk specialist will certainly get the business in place a hell of a lot quicker than someone that doesn't specialise in the risk. But then we help with steps to try and minimise them. But there certainly is, that conversation. Should you be referring it, or are you comfortable to do it in-house?
Yeah, and I can tell you as a risk specialist, it's hard to make money even when you specialise in it. So, dabbling, it's even harder.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I guess my next question, are you concerned about the future of Life Tech Assist in going, there's a dwindling level of advisors writing insurance? I'm not sure if you saw Advisor Ratings recently said there was barely any advisors, less than 300, running 50% of all new business. Is that a concern with your business?
For my business, the short answer is no. It's not a concern. In actual fact, it's probably more of an attraction for advisors that don't specialise in risk to come and get that assistance. Being an advocate for life insurance for many, many years, it's a real concern for our industry, a real concern. And I've got to say, the last 2 to 3 years has probably been the rock bottom of my career in insurance, seeing where the insurance space is. And I think something needs to be done, whether it's increasing commissions, whether it's simplify the paperwork, and not just a throwaway line that we don't need SOAs because you've got licensees that say, look, that may be well and good to give away the SOAs, but as a licensee, we need and thirdly, I think the government needs to step in, because if we're getting a reduction in insurance writings, and it's been more than 50% over the last 3 years, and we're getting a less amount of advisors actually writing the insurance, that's going to place, some concern for the government and the Social Security. So really, it needs to be looked at.
Yeah. I'll hold back my thoughts on what should happen, but from a pure business point of view, I'm understanding that if someone's written 50 policies a year, or a business used to write 50 policies a year and now they're writing 10, it's actually better for you as a business because, well, now they're less involved, they're less understanding of all the changes, and they've just got less capacity. So they may as well bring in a technical resource into their business.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what does the future look like for Life Tech Assist? Oh, actually, before I talk about the future, what's the team look like? Is it just yourself in the business?
Currently, it's myself. My wife does a lot of the back office work. So at the moment, it's just myself. So maintaining website, answering inquiries, and doing the numbers. Like September's been our busiest month on record. So that's been good. But we'll just assess it and see as to where the business grows. I'm always looking for efficiencies. And that's something that I'm always looking for, efficiencies. I do outsource some of my work to various people. That's the mundane work. So I can concentrate on the things that are going to improve my business rather than maintain.
Yeah, cool. So what does the future look like? Is it just continue to be Dave, the tech expert, roll them out when we need to do a PD day as a licensee? Yeah, what does that look like for Life Tech Assist?
Well, look, we're continuing to grow. It will get to a point where I'll hit the crossroads. I feel confident that the business will continue to grow, and I'll get to a crossroad as to what do we do? Do we employ more technical specialists? And I guess my biggest downfall with my business is that the IP is pretty much me within my head. It would be probably expanding the business to look after more of the mundane things like the website, and I can just concentrate on taking on inquiries and creating fact sheets and worksheets for advisors to utilise. But there will be a cap, and I'm quietly confident that cap will be met at some stage, in the future. But
cool.
With dealer groups, individuals is pretty much my focus.
Yeah. And in terms of just like the business, the percentage of your kind of work is mainly in the dealer group space, or is it the individual businesses that are using you guys?
It used to be the dealer group space. Now it's the individual businesses. We service around just under 300 advisors now, and we're getting roughly 4 to 8 inquiries per day, which is manageable. So it's probably surpassed dealer group land to individuals. But at this stage, I don't have any preference.
Yeah, and look, I'd imagine that'll be the trend anyway. Like I read somewhere, email today or somewhere recently, that there was a significant number of AFSLs being granted recently. I'm in that cohort. We went self-licensed in April this year. Historically had a dealer group. We're paying a whole bunch of fees and getting a whole bunch of services in exchange, or, services. You can use that word loosely. And then now we're self-licensed, and we've just got to work out, okay, as a business, what do we need to bring in? What services do we need to bring into our business? So that's why, we at Sky, we engage you guys to help us out in terms of our technical assistance, and we've used other services, but I think that's kind of the trend, whether that continues to trend that way, whatever that looks like. But I think a lot of businesses are really taking their own kind of business development on themselves, not expecting licensees to, spoon feed the advisors. What's our business? We need to grow up as business owners and realize that, what do I need to help my clients better? Well, we need technical support. Okay, great. Let's bring that in. So for anyone out there who's especially, and I agree with you, Dave, a lot of the generalists who are dabbling in insurance definitely need to bring that technical expertise into their business.
That's a good point, because I look at individuals, but I look at the individuals, a good portion of those have got their own AFSL. Okay, so if you start looking, I'm thinking, when you said AFSLs, I'm thinking of AFSLs with, 30 plus advisors, which I do have maybe half a dozen of those. But then those that have got, 2 to 6 advisors, there is a substantial amount of subscribers that actually utilize.
That's right. And again, that's kind of what I was talking about, is individual businesses, whether they're licensed externally and then coming to you and just bringing that support, that can still be the case. That's kind of, sure, maybe you approach your licensee first to see if they'll flip the bill, but if they're not going to, then engage, like it's your, for anyone listening, if you're running a business and you're wanting to do insurance, it's your business. Yes, your licensee is kind of, interlinked with the risk involved, but I don't care who I'm licensed, or if I'm getting a complaint against me, whether I'm licensed externally or self-licensed, is still something I need to deal with and worry about. So it's been helpful for the team. We've got a big cohort of paraplanners. We've got 7 paraplanners now in the team, so it's even for the support staff to utilize and to engage and get that external resources. They can engage the advisors. There's plenty of internal engagement, but it's just that extra level of support that's not just insurance specific. Now, if we know we're recommending A, B, C insurance company, well, we can go to them and look at their PDS. But if we're in the research stage, sometimes comparing the pre-assessments doesn't tell us everything. So having that external resource as well is definitely helpful.
Exactly. And look, using comparative software, you'd be just as well aware as what I am. Just because it rated 100 points, it does not necessarily mean it's the best product for them.
I mean, we kind of discount the rating. By discount, I mean we don't look at it at all.
Yeah.
Because, whether a melanoma needs to be 1 mil or 1.5 mils, for some clients on the very edges, yeah, sure, having a 1 mil melanoma, diameter is better for them. But I don't know if they're going to have that or if they're going to have a heart attack. So, dialing, getting an 89 rating or a 92 rating is very, minor consideration. It's about going, well, does the client have sick leave? Well, yes. Okay. Well, then these insurers we look at, or does that client have, A, B, and C considerations? There's so many more things than just that number that we get.
So that's the expertise. That's your expertise coming out, for a lot of people and a lot of people new in the market space. And look, what I first was advising, I relied wholly and solely on comparative software, and I used the top quartile as part of my recommendation. As you become experienced, you realise that underwriting relationships, insurance relationships do not come into play with any comparative software. And then you start pulling apart some of those benefits. And a good example might be you're wanting $2 million worth of cover for an individual, and company A comes up on top with 100 points, and company B comes up, 10th with 80 points. Really, you need to dive down, and some of the differences that may be is that in the event of a terminal illness, company A will pay up to $5 million in the event of terminal illness, and company B may pay up to $3 million.
Yeah.
If you're writing $2 million, it means nothing to the client. Or one may have a higher financial planning benefit than the other, and it it obviously is scored that way as well. You need to take a deeper dive, and then some of the things brought up, sick leave.
Yeah, on to your point, as a generalist, it's harder because all that stuff is buried in there. Like, of course, doing 10 policies a year. What do I like? We care because we're still giving advice on it. I mainly deal with retirees, and I'm giving the pre-retiree insurance advice because they kind of need it for the next 10 years. Like, okay, just bring in support. Whether you're still doing it internally, and that's fine to keep doing it internally, but bring in that support to go, we're looking at this, Dave. Can you just check it out and let me know if there are some things I should be considering that I'm not in this comparison report. So that stuff is super helpful, and it's inexpensive. What was the cost again for it? $95 a month?
$95, which is inclusive of GST.
I mean, my view is always get out or do it well. Don't refer it out, or if you're going to keep it, then continue to invest in it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, David, how do people reach you?
Very easily. Our website is lifetechassist.com.au, or just type in my name, David Spiteri, and it'll probably come up on the Google search. Yeah, happy to have a chat beforehand. And what we tend to do is, prior to joining, or if you did join, is we tend to have a half-hour Zoom catch-up where I'd like to get a feel of your business and vice versa. So if anything that comes in, as I said, speaking with around 300 advisors, if there's something that I think is worthwhile in the space of the new person that joined, well, I'm more than happy to pass them through.
And more importantly, if you're like me and you just want to sign up without talking to anyone, you can. You can just go on the website, click on membership, hit join, pay the money, and go, right, give me access to the resource center.
Yeah, and that does happen as well. All of a sudden, I'll get a couple of people that are joining. I'm thinking, oh, geez, I didn't even think I even know them.
Yeah.
So I make contact and so look, it's being cloud-based or internet-based, we can service anyone nationally.
Yeah. I mean, there's low friction. That's what I like about it. Low friction, jump on. But you just jump on the website, lifetechassist.com.au. Feel free. I mean, you got your contact details in there. They can give you a call. They can send you an email and go from there. Awesome. Thanks heaps for catching up today. I got a question for you, or two actually, before we finish up. Number one, when do you get a chance to do your emails?
I do my emails. I tend to do them first thing in the morning, and depending if I get inquiries, I like to get on those as soon as I can. It's like an internal policy within 24 hours, but I generally get on them within the hour.
Yeah, cool. So you're an email all day kind of guy.
Yes, but on inquiry.
I guess you have to be. When your business is Tech Assist, you can't have to be a little bit email all day.
No, that's right.
And then the last question is, what's one interesting hobby that you have?
I am a real avid fisherman. I love my fishing. It's something that I do weekly. I live in Ely Beach at the moment, and so we live in the Whitsundays, and boating, fishing just goes hand in glove for me.
You literally moved up to the Whitsundays just to go fishing on a weekly basis.
I didn't say that to my wife.
Yeah.
Deep down, it's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome here. And look,
the pitch to the wife was, let's go up, let's enjoy the sunshine and beaches and beautiful weather. And then secretly you're thinking, I get to fish.
For lunch and this and that. And we do that too. We do that quite often. And people that come up from Melbourne and our friends, we generally go to South Mole Island, and it's empty. It's since the Cyclone Debbie, there's nothing there, but we still have more the boat. We have a barbecue. It's like having our own island to ourselves, which is awesome.
Amazing. All right, awesome, David. Thanks heaps for your time. And if anyone's listening, make sure you jump on the My Risk Advisor Facebook group and get involved. If you've got any technical questions, reach out to Dave Spiteri, but you can also put it in the Facebook group. Thanks heaps, Dave.
Thanks, Bill.
All right.
If you've enjoyed this episode and you think someone else will get value out of it, I'd love it if you could forward it on to them. And as always, we can continue the conversation in the My Risk Advisor Facebook group. All you need to do, open up Facebook and search My Risk Advisor, and I'll see you in there.